Jake Arrieta, the Cubs, throws a no-hitter the other day, sixth no-hitter of the year, second against the Dodgers in the last 9 days. Is Jake Arrieta at the top of the list of Cy Young candidates right now, along with Greinke and Kershaw and possibly Garrett Cole in Pittsburgh? Who do you have at the top?
I got Arrieta with Kershaw and Greinke, and I think September will decide it. Greinke's had a terrific year. Kershaw is a wonderful pitcher. Depends really what you want to go by. If you go by the normal, the conventional categories, he's right up there. If you go by the advanced metrics, he and Kershaw are neck and neck, and it's going to be decided in September. Those three pitchers are playing for teams in the playoffs or fighting for a playoff berth, and so is Garrett Cole. I just think Arrieta has just been, I think it went 6-0 in August with an ERA under 5, under half a run a game, and it just doesn't get much better than that.
Steve, the Cubs haven't had a Cy Young Award winner since Greg Maddux in 1992, and as everybody knows, they haven't had a World Series victory since 1908. 107 years, unbelievable. But the excitement right now, we can feel it here. It's palpable even here. The TV ratings are through the roof. The seats are being filled once again at Wrigley Field. There's a lot of excitement about this team. Are they a legitimate contender?
I think they are based on the way they've played, but no team's ever made the playoffs with significant contributions, meaning like 300 at-bats or more, from 4 rookies. And that's what they've tried to do this year with the likes of Schwarber and Bryant and Soler, and they're dealing with a lot of young players who have never been through something like this, and yet the glare of the expectations for a guy like Bryant, he's going to win Rookie of the Year, it looks like, and Schwarber came up and was just a monster. You just don't know what happens when they play in September, and that will determine it. But what they've done is they did it the right way. The Cubs just bottomed out. They weren't trying to patch things together. They went to, when they went into the draft, they went after hitters when nobody else was, and they've got a lot of right-handed power that is treasured around baseball, and they've decided to buy pitching, and when they bought it in the free agent market, when it was mid-level, like a number 3 starter, like Scott Feldman, they let him pitch for 3 months. They traded him, and what they got back in the trade was Pedro Strop, a potential closer, and they also got a guy named Jake Arrieta. They've done it the right way. They've been, outside of Edwin Jackson, they've made some really smart moves.
It's you just mentioned the youth of this team. Is this year being counted on as we'll gain experience and see what happens in October, or do the people of Chicago and, I guess far more importantly, the people within the Cubs organization think that this is a team that's ready now to do damage in the playoffs?
Well, Joe Maddon certainly does. And Joe Maddon was when he was hired last offseason, said, whatever you guys have seen so far, I'm going to be talking playoffs as soon as we get to spring training. And he's had the right touch with this team, especially the young players. You saw what he did in Tampa with young players. They always competed. He doesn't ask much. Respect 90. Just go hard every 90 feet and come ready to play. Give it your best effort. And they responded really well to that. Some people looked at it as this is a bonus year with the way they're playing. But Theo Epstein isn't here just to have another honeymoon year. He put Cubs fans through some really awful seasons. And when he took the job, as bad as the Cubs were, he made the statement, every season is sacred. I always think of Monty Python, every sperm is sacred, from one of the great songs. But it's what they're looking at. So there's no reason not to think they can compete, because what happens is, and you've seen it with all the wild card teams, just get in. You have no idea. Look at what happened last year. 2 wild card teams, they won, and they're going down to Game 7 of the World Series. So the idea is just get in, and they've got 2 starters who can pitch you through September. The back end of the rotation is trouble, and that's where the problems may come, presuming the hitters keep hitting the way they have.
Steve, I'm one of those knuckleheads that tends to think that anybody can manage a baseball team, but you have a manager there that as you just said, did great work in Tampa and has done great work in Chicago.
Makes a difference.
So what's the magic touch of this manager?
I don't think anybody can manage a baseball team. We all think we can. That's what we get paid to do at times. The first Exhibit A would be Bruce Bochy. You think you can manage like him with all those World Series in 3 and 5 years? The touch that Joe Maddon had is he's treated it. It's not always DEFCON 1. It's a game. They're lucky to play it. They should have fun playing it. And when he took the job, he said he writes at the top of his lineup card every night, do not allow the pressure to exceed the pleasure. And he stressed that to these guys. And it's easier to do with young players, but the young players have an infectious way about them, and they execute, and everybody's bought into it. They're playing baseball as right as they can, and the mental errors are minimal. The physical errors are just going to happen. They're responding to a guy, and it doesn't always work the first time around, second time around. Joe Torre, it took him a while. He's a terrific manager. He turned out to be anyways, and it doesn't always work out, but you need you need players first of all, and then you need to be able to know in Joe's case, the psychology of these players and how to make the locker room and the field a place where you want to do your best, where you're relaxed enough to do your best. You know, baseball's not football. You can't play baseball harder. You have to play it relaxed and confident, and these Cubs are doing it.
Our guest is Steve Rosenbloom, sports columnist for the Chicago Tribune, and this portion of the Big Stuff presented by the Celtic Tavern.